The hardest goodbye is the one that was never actually said. Some endings never arrive with a final conversation. They don't come with a farewell, a last embrace, or words that neatly close a chapter. Instead, they happen quietly, almost invisibly, hidden inside ordinary days until one morning you wake up and realize that someone who once occupied your entire heart has slowly become a memory. Perhaps that is why the hardest goodbye is the one that was never actually said. No one prepared you for silence. No one warned you that silence could become louder than arguments, more painful than rejection, and more confusing than honesty. You kept expecting one more message, one more explanation, one more chance to understand what changed. Instead, all you found was an empty space where conversations used to live. You replayed every memory countless times. You searched for mistakes hidden between your words. You wondered if there was something you could have said differently. Maybe one more apology, maybe one more "I love you," maybe one more effort. But sometimes life doesn't allow us the comfort of knowing exactly why someone walked away. Some people leave without closing the door. They simply stop coming back. That kind of goodbye lingers longer than any spoken farewell ever could. When people say time heals everything, they rarely explain what healing truly feels like. Healing is not forgetting. Healing is remembering without breaking apart. Healing is learning to smile at memories that once made you cry. At first, every place reminds you of them, every song sounds like your story. Every sunset carries their shadow. Even the smallest things become impossible to ignore because love leaves fingerprints everywhere. The coffee shop where you laughed together, the road you always walked, the photographs you promised would become lifelong memories, the little jokes nobody else understood. Those moments don't disappear overnight. They stay. Not because you're weak, not because you're unable to move forward. They stay because genuine connections always leave permanent marks on the soul. You may have blamed yourself, you may have spent countless nights believing you weren't enough, but people's decisions are often more complicated than our fears. Sometimes someone walks away because they are fighting battles they never explain. Sometimes fear becomes stronger than love. Sometimes timing defeats two hearts that truly cared. And sometimes there isn't a reason that completely satisfies the questions left behind. That uncertainty hurts. It becomes its own kind of heartbreak. Yet despite everything, you continued living. You woke up every morning even when your heart felt heavy. You smiled for people who never knew how much pain you carried. You fulfilled responsibilities while quietly holding together pieces of yourself that nobody realized had shattered. That required incredible strength. Strength rarely looks dramatic. Most of the time, strength is simply surviving another ordinary day while carrying extraordinary sadness. You probably never received recognition for that. No one applauded your silent courage. But every single day you continued moving forward became proof that your heart was stronger than your circumstances. Love changes people. Not only the love that stays, but also the love that leaves. It teaches patience, it teaches compassion, it teaches resilience, it teaches us that vulnerability is never something to regret. Loving deeply was never your mistake. The outcome may have hurt, but your ability to love remains one of your greatest strengths. Never apologize for having a beautiful heart. A beautiful heart may get hurt, but it also creates unforgettable moments. It inspires kindness. It offers hope. It reminds the world that genuine affection still exists. One day, you'll stop wondering why everything happened exactly the way it did, not because you'll finally discover every answer, but because the questions themselves will no longer control your peace. You'll realize that closure isn't always given by another person. Sometimes closure is created within ourselves. It begins the moment we stop waiting for explanations that may never come. It grows every time we forgive ourselves. It strengthens whenever we choose peace over endless overthinking. There will come a morning when their name doesn't immediately cross your mind. A song will play without reopening old wounds. A familiar place will make you smile instead of cry. You'll notice these changes quietly. Healing doesn't announce its arrival. It simply appears after countless ordinary moments of choosing yourself again and again. You are allowed to miss someone and still move forward. Those two truths can exist together. Missing someone does not mean you belong in the past. It only means that what you shared mattered. The people who truly shape our lives rarely disappear completely. They become chapters, lessons, memories, gentle reminders of who we once were. Every ending teaches us something about beginnings. Every heartbreak teaches us something about hope. Every goodbye, even the unspoken ones, prepares our hearts for a future we cannot yet imagine. Perhaps the greatest act of courage isn't finding someone new. Perhaps it's learning how to become whole again while standing alone, learning to enjoy your own company, learning to celebrate your victories, learning to comfort yourself on difficult nights, learning that your happiness cannot depend entirely on another person's presence. You deserve a love that chooses you without hesitation. You deserve conversations instead of confusion. You deserve honesty instead of uncertainty. You deserve consistency instead of mixed signals. Most importantly, you deserve peace. Real love never asks you to lose yourself. It encourages your growth. It celebrates your dreams. It protects your heart instead of constantly testing its limits. Never lower your standards simply because loneliness feels uncomfortable. Temporary loneliness is far less painful than permanent emotional uncertainty. Trust that what is genuinely meant for your life will never require you to abandon your self-worth. Keep becoming the person you were always meant to become. Keep believing that your story isn't over simply because one chapter ended unexpectedly. Life has an incredible way of introducing new beginnings after we become convinced that everything has ended. You may not see it today, you may not believe it tonight, but there are still conversations waiting to happen, friendships waiting to form, dreams waiting to unfold, smiles waiting to return, love waiting to arrive in healthier, kinder, more honest ways. Until then, continue choosing yourself, continue growing, continue healing, continue believing that your heart is capable of loving again without forgetting everything it has survived. Because the hardest goodbye may have been the one that was never actually said, but your greatest hello has not happened yet, and when it finally arrives, you'll understand that every silent ending prepared you for a beginning that never needed uncertainty. never needed unanswered questions, and never needed an unfinished goodbye. Sometimes the story that broke your heart also built the strength that would eventually protect it. So walk forward with hope, carry your memories gently, honor the love you once felt, release the pain you no longer need, and trust that every step away from yesterday is quietly leading you toward a future where peace speaks louder than silence ever could.